Okay, so my name's Chris Greer, and nice to meet all of you, or re-meet you if we've met in the past. So typically for SharkBytes, I don't know if you've seen these on YouTube or seen these in person before, but for me, the ones I've done in the past have always been about something I've done or something I'm presently doing, but this one is about an experience that I went through about 10 years ago. So I went through my 20s as a generally healthy person. I wasn't a superstar, like super fit, CrossFit person, but generally healthy. I went for runs on my lunch break, and I could go down and do a bunch of push-ups, no problem. Well, I turned 30, and for those of you that have not turned 30 yet, enjoy it because something changes. And I hit 30, and one day, I literally bent down to pick up this, a piece of paper. And from that day, I literally just went down to the floor to pick up a piece of paper. From that day, my life changed. Unknowingly, I had a very, very bad back problem that was, at the time, I didn't know anything about it. But that day, I herniated my L5-S1 just by going down to pick up a piece of paper. So for the next 5 years after that, began a cycle of doctor's visits, of walking around looking like a complete, cripple. But that day, after I went down to pick up a piece of paper, I heard about all these different things that people do for this sudden pain that I had. One of my best friends, he went to go see this amazing chiropractor, so I thought, oh, just something is out, so let me go do that same thing. I go to the chiropractor, and I literally was like walking in like sideways, like I walked into the front desk, and they were like, oh my God, like you need to get back there right away. I went to the chiropractor that day and pop and twist, and it turns out that is the last thing I needed at that point. It turns out that the chiropractor actually made it worse than it was. They actually exacerbated the problem. Anyway, so went to the hospital, ended up in a wheelchair for a good part of that year, a walker, a lot of, it was a very painful time in my life. But I remember thinking at that time, this will never end. This is going to be my life now. I'm going to be in this pain cycle. This is going to be a condition that I have to deal with. I'm still young. This sucks. You're watching your life change. Well, thankfully, I didn't give up. I got in touch with a really good back surgeon who actually saw me, and he did an MRI, he did x-rays, he did all this stuff on me, and he said, you know what, you're not a good candidate for surgery. I won't cut. That's maybe down the road something I'll have to do. I want you to get out of here, and I want you to go hit the pool, and I want you to change your diet, and I want you to do a couple other things, and see what happens. Well, thankfully, he gave me that advice, because I left that day, and I started to change a few things, just a few nips and tucks to my daily routine. And I'm standing before you today, and I have absolutely zero pain. So the story I wanted to tell, or the point to my SharkByte this year was, I know several of you that I've talked to in even the recent days, recent years, have dealt with this really crappy condition that is back pain. Ironically, for what we all do, my surgeon told me, he says, you guys are making me millions because you sit all the time. So in our line of work, it's a very common thing, right? So my SharkByte to all of you fellow pain sufferers is don't give up. There's a recipe that will help you. I have no idea what that recipe is, but continue to push forward with it. There's days when you don't even want to get out of bed because it's just such a horrible thing. However, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm not sure exactly at what point you can get to, but I stand before you after 10 years in zero pain. this was never supposed to happen, but here I am and it happened. So keep on going, keep fighting, and find what works for you. That's my SharkByte.